Maryland Governor Wes Moore received considerable pushback from members of his own party when he vetoed Senate Bill 587. That bill would have created a commission to study and recommend reparations for African Americans impacted by slavery. He said it's not the time for another study, it's time for action.
I don't think we have time to wait. I think that's why we've got to move with a sense of urgency and a sense of action on this.
Thursday, he and his administration announced 2 steps they are taking to address the racial wealth gap. The first, an additional 7,000 pardons granted for cases of simple cannabis possession, building on the historic 175,000 pardons that were granted last year.
Part of the reason that I made a priority on looking at pardons is because we have a problem with inclusion. We have a system right now where every sentence ends up becoming a life sentence for people, and specifically for people of color and specifically for African Americans. We've seen how this war on cannabis has been used as a cudgel against the black community, because I believe in second chances. My faith teaches me about second chances, but also my understanding of the world.
Moore also announced its Just Communities initiative, a new effort to pump $400 million of state funding into communities that have been subjected to discriminatory policies like redlining and home appraisal bias.
If you look at the history of our state, part of the challenge we've had with the history of our state has been unfair appraisal values. And what's happened in something I know you know very well, something that's happened in black communities where the appraisal value has actually been one of the greatest wealth thefts.
For several years, we've reported on allegations of home appraisal bias in Maryland and specifically in Prince George's County, where some homeowners told us their houses were undervalued and in some cases by more than $500,000. A lower home valuation impacts other houses in the neighborhood, school funding, and public services that rely on property tax dollars. Our reporting is credited with new laws in Prince George's County, statewide laws in Maryland, and changes to federal policy.
We're putting over $400 million, a historic number, into black communities and into communities that we know have really suffered from unfair appraisal values by being able to lift the values, by being able to get more home ownership, because one of the fastest ways you can create wealth is actually ownership. There is no state in the country that's moving more aggressively in actually this work of repair that this state needed for a very long time than what Maryland has been doing in the past 2.5 years, and it's something that we're very proud of.
Larry Miller, WUSA 9.
Now, Governor Moore and Larry also spent some time talking about President Trump, the impacts of the reduction of the federal workforce on Maryland, and why he's resisting calls to run for president. You can see his entire interview streaming right now on WUSA 9+. We'll be right back with more of the news at 11.